Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Hedera or HBAR, and we have quite a bit of things to talk about, so sit back, relax, and before we fully jump into this video, I just want to ask if you guys could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate it. Now with that in mind, let's jump in and let's talk about this market. So right now, the market is pretty much kind of just ranging on. We've been talking about this. It's going to be boring. It's going to be a bore fest. Some altcoins, yeah, sure, will turn green and pump a little bit. We have been seeing that throughout the market a little bit. Kind of some catching up to do for a lot of altcoins, especially HBAR as well, as you guys do know. Now, we aren't in the major green areas at all. In fact, HBAR isn't even on the top list for a lot of altcoins that are green. We're actually still pretty red. We are still down about 5%, almost 4% if you will. Trading volume up about 22.38%, so nothing too crazy there. But as you guys do see, you know, we pretty much hit some pretty good lows, which is like around the 26th centile range, which we've been pretty much ranging on for a fairly long time. I mean, on the 7-day span, we have been ranging just from this bottom point that we set with Bitcoin. So, you know, still no excitement in terms of HBAR movement. I do apologize to you guys that we're not going to be talking more so about the price, but we're going to be talking about some updates. So, with that in mind, let's move on and let's talk about that. So we did see MTech pretty much tweet out yesterday this. Our digital regulatory sandbox enables central banks to virtually collaborate with FSPs in a modern way, ready for modern solutions. Now, I thought this was pretty interesting. So, first off, when we're talking about MTech, I've discussed to you guys how big of a piece they will be for the HBAR, puzzle. Now, we've talked about CBDCs, we've talked about financial inclusion, we've talked about what's happening, but overall, I thought this was interesting. This was new. I haven't, went onto the MTech website for a fairly long time, but this was something that caught my eye. MTech builds easy-to-deploy, highly secure cloud-based software for central banks to become more innovative, provide financial inclusion, and build infrastructure resilience in the era of open banking and digital currency. Okay, so pretty interesting. Nothing too crazy that they are mentioning here besides the idea of cloud-based software for central banks. They are focused on central banks, and of course we do know that they are partnered with HBAR, and they have been updating this on a day-to-day basis. They're talking about Africa and the Caribbean areas. Of course, we do know about the sand dollar in the Bahamas as well. There's a lot of stuff that is, in my mind, still being worked on behind the scenes that still are yet to be released. For an example, we talk about this base cash wallet for anyone who wants it, debt-neutral economic stimulus schemes, and of course the digital dollar push payments, people and small businesses. And we do see this is Project New Dawn, which we've discussed going back to May. A lot of stuff is being talked about in terms of the products. There is still this digital regulatory sandbox, which we've discussed a little bit here and there in the past. Now, this is going to be pretty big because this is going to allow those central banks to pretty much streamline the future of digitization in general. So this is the overall key aspects for it, for central banks: ability to innovate faster, ability to harness innovation for national priorities, ability to seamlessly collaborate with various stakeholders, ability to use trusted data in policy making. So, like I said, this is all going to be the next major move. This is going to be the next major phase of digitization and tokenization in terms of central banks, of course. But of course, we do see for innovators, ease of onboarding API marketplace and developer libraries, fast time to market, improved investment potential, and of course, here's the objectives. They do have efficient reviews and faster time to market. So this is going to, like I said, streamline the next major move within the banking scene, and I suspect that this is going to play a vital role within CBDCs and central bank adoption. Now, let's talk about some, a little bit of speculation. So we did see this posted yesterday, and I actually quoted it and I've talked about it. We do suggested Australian Federal Treasurer to introduce a reform plan that legalizes Bitcoin and crypto. The goal is to make Australia a world leader in crypto. Of course, here's the article for that. Now, I quoted it, and I've talked about HBAR and many other individuals like Zepsi, for an example, also recognize the connections here. HBAR, FTPOS, or FTPOS Australia, Australian debit card system. BMIT, Connect ID, Digital ID with MicoMe, Smart Cities. FTPOS is a part of Australian Payments Plus with BPay and NPP, Australia's real-time payment system owned by big Australian banks. Australia will run on HBAR, and I suspect the same exact thing. In fact, we can go over to my profile real quick, and we could pretty much read exactly what I said within this tweet talking about it. So, this is what I said. Soon Australia is going to reign supreme in digitization thanks to Hedera or HBAR with FTPOS Australia. I believe HBAR will help Australia truly scale their payments infrastructure and really help them streamline their crypto innovation. Now, of course, like I said, I suspect that MTech is going to be playing a vital role within this as well, talking more so about CBDCs. Could we see, the Australian CBDC built within the HBAR ledger? I could see it. I think that would be perfectly, great for them overall in terms of their well-positioned, expertise in Australia already with FTPOS and MicoMe and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me at all, especially with what we have been seeing with Shinhan Bank and Standard Bank and stuff. I look forward to seeing a lot of this unfold because we do know there's a lot of NDAs, legal processes to go through, but like I said, I think that there's a lot more going on that we're not seeing. We're just seeing like the tip of the iceberg here. Now we do see here, HBAR Foundation partners with UAE-based blockchain consultancy Deka4. Goal is to boost Hedera utilization. So we've talked about UAE in terms of Casper and also XRP. There's been a lot of UAE adoption going on within crypto, but I thought this was pretty interesting to say the least in terms of the projects that are going to essentially be built within the Hedera network. And let's check out what we are going to be seeing. So we see real value for enabling new capabilities through decentralized networks, and Hedera adds greater efficiencies for cost, speed, scalability, and implementation that makes good business sense for the organizations with whom we work. And of course, this is the diamond industry. We see its diamond value chain project and authenticated diamond NFT platform as an amazing opportunity to not only track product for authenticity and through logistics, but also for adding value for consumers who will be able to learn about the origin and history of their diamond as it continues to exchange hands into the future. So this is more so for a diamond NFT marketplace. I suspect that this is going to be absolutely massive in terms of tokenization and digitization of jewelry. Pretty much we're talking more so about diamonds in general, but overall this is going to be huge. Now we do see here from CryptoPunks to car insurance, Kevin O'Leary is betting on the future of NFTs. Now we know Kevin O'Leary has hands in Immutable Holdings in terms of NFT.com, and I would not be surprised if he has hands in Hedera. Now, he is more so talking about where NFTs could pretty much lead to. I've always said that NFTs are so much bigger than just, for example, JPEGs and stuff. Now, like I said, in terms of NFTs, I think it's so much bigger than just art. We've talked about major tokenization taking place within the real estate game. We talk more so about it in, cars and stuff like that. I think the future is tokenization. I think NFTs in general haven't even really seen their true adoption factor yet. And I've always said that tokenization at some point in time is going to disrupt pretty much every market, everyday life. And we do see here how $544 trillion worth of assets could become tokenized. And this is talking more so about securities. This is talking about so much more. And of course, here are some of how security tokens will radically disrupt traditional finance. They're talking about fractional ownership. They're talking about an interoperable financial realm. Now, I've always talked about how securities, once tokenized, will be able to pretty much be transacted within pretty much any sort of market. I mean, you could pretty much transact securities to anybody, which is going to be great. And of course, we talk about digitizing or tokenizing, I should say, data as well, which is going to be huge. The removal of middlemen, liquidity as well. This is going to be huge. And I suspect that there's going to be a lot of money flowing through this entire market once a lot of this stuff does get tokenized. I think tokenization, first off, I highly doubt that Ethereum is going to be the main player within tokenization. I always said that HBAR is going to be the leading name within this. Now we do see ultimately he believes more than $544 trillion worth of assets throughout the world will inevitably become tokenized. And These are the reasons why. He's saying, think of traditional assets similar to that of mailed physical letters and tokenized assets to that of emails. Bitcoin first brought us programmable money, and with that, we are now discovering the power of programmable securities. I think that securities are going to be 100% tokenized. I suspect data will be tokenized. There's so many other things that will be tokenized. And of course, we do see this article from Forbes. Dollar bills and dollars will become digital assets running over the same rails. There's talking about tokenizing of everything. The future will be tokenized. I suspect that it will be as well. I think that there's so much more that NFTs and tokenization could really disrupt. I think that, like I said, we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, and I've always said that HBAR is going to play a vital role within the tokenization market. Now, we also see our JP Morgan hiring software engineers for collateral blockchain tokenization. They are seeing it. They understand how big tokenization is going to become, and like I said, I know that I sound like a broken record here, but I think HBAR is going to play the vital role within this. And of course, we do see here Linkey announces tokenization and NFTs for properties worth $8 billion. Of course, real estate will be tokenized. It's already starting. We've seen, I think it's Red Swan. I want to say that it was Red Swan that essentially had a partnership with HBAR. I don't know if they're still partnered with HBAR, but they're doing some interesting things in terms of the tokenized real estate game. I think that this is great. We also see here industries that are embracing the blockchain and I suppose, not and the of tokenization of assets. So we do see cloud computing, which we do know that MTech is focused on, e-commerce, fintech as well. Fintech, we have been seeing some tokenization happening within the fintech zone. I think that fintech in general is going to really see that mainstream adoption happening for tokenization. And I think that this is going to be revolutionary in terms of just fintech in general. We see a lot of that happening on HBAR already. E-commerce, we do see that moving more so onto HBAR as well. We have been seeing some e-commerce growth happening. We talk more so about Galaxy. We talk about Suku, stuff like that. I think that that's going to play a vital role within that area as well. And then, of course, we talk more so about cloud computing, which we know that Google and stuff like that being within the HBAR, governing council, is going to provide so much value for that as well. I think tokenization is just beginning. Now, we also seen Visa launches crypto advisory services for banks as demand for digital assets grows. And like I said, with all of this massive growth happening within the crypto scene, adoption happening, I think that we are only seeing a bare minimum of to what's to come for crypto. I think that this market, first off, at a $238 trillion market cap, is comical to say the least. In a recent study conducted by Visa, 18% of global participants revealed that they would be likely or very likely to switch primary banks to one offering crypto-related products over the next year. In emerging markets, that figure rose to 24%, and for consumers who already own cryptocurrency, Visa's study found that almost 40% of participants expressed as a willingness to switch their banks to one offering crypto products. Of course, right? People want crypto. People see the vital role that crypto holds within the future of tokenization, digitization, CBDCs, all of this. It's going to take the world by storm. We think it's a critical role for Visa to play to help be a bridge between banks and the crypto ecosystem. Of course, right? Every bank should have a crypto strategy, yes, because it's growing and growing and growing. Now, like I said, I think that once we do see what's about to happen, I think articles like this will no longer be a thing. I don't even like to compare Hedera to Ethereum anymore because we've already, rose above it. We've already seen HBAR, in my mind, become the next Ethereum. I know that I've said that Casper is Ethereum 3.0. It is. Don't get that wrong. Don't get that twisted. Casper is going to be huge. But in my mind, Ethereum cannot be compared to HBAR anymore. I don't even think that HBAR could be compared to Ethereum either, because HBAR is in its own realm. It is focused on entirely different markets. It has a clearer mission. It has a clearer goal in mind. It's already become the most utilized DLT technology in terms of the enterprise grade solutions and stuff like that. In my mind, HBAR's future has already been solidified in this market, and it's not a top 37 asset. It is a top 10 at the very minimum. Okay, I've always said top 5 at least, And I still believe that. I still think that we are extremely undervalued, overlooked, and highly suppressed in terms of price. I think that we're going to see this unfold at a massive rate, especially once we do march forward on in time. I think that we are just extremely early. I think that we're extremely early in terms of all of this market. You know, I know a $50,000 Bitcoin, to some people are going to express the idea that we're late to the party, but we don't need to invest in Bitcoin. We don't care about Bitcoin. We still see assets that are extremely undervalued doing incredibly well in terms of the ecosystem growth and partnerships alone. And I'm just excited for, these major markets to finally get disrupted. $544 trillion worth of assets being tokenized. Yeah, I think that that is going to be where a lot of things start. I think that payments and stuff like that being disrupted by XRP, a lot of these big name players within this game, I think that we're at the bare minimum for adoption and utility cases. And once a utility-driven market is here, it's going to be endgame. So with that in mind, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.